Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Dej, and on this channel I talk about school, speech language pathology, God, all those kinds of things. So if you love any of the things that I just named, you will love this channel. Today we're going to be doing an SLP Q&A, and I'm so excited to answer you guys' questions. You guys gave me some really good ones on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, that's _ DAJ for Dej, Mitchell, Mitchell. Again, that's _ Dej Mitchell. Alright guys, we're gonna hop right in, but quick disclaimer, I am not an SLP quite yet. I'm an SLP2BE who is in grad school. So the first question is, what is your current dream setting? Medical, private, school, etc. So, and it comes from Addie Nubia. I believe that's how you say it. But that's a really good question. My current dream setting is an acute care hospital setting. I fell in love with it. It's so fast paced, and yeah, that's my dream setting. So the next question comes from Mallory.slp. Love her. Favorite clinical experience so far? I think that's a super good question. Being that I'm starting graduate school in like a couple weeks, I haven't had a ton of clinical experiences yet, but I have been abroad at different clinical sites in Uganda. So at the Hope Speaks Clinic, I actually got to be involved in a TBI, that's a traumatic brain injury trauma group. And so it was just really interesting to see the different kinds of stories and meet the different people and just give them all collective strategies to help with, similar symptoms. Okay, so the next question comes from Grace June, who actually found me here on YouTube. So hey girl, have you ever doubted if this was the right career choice for you? Actually, I have. Many of you don't really know my story / testimony with speech language pathology, but it actually will come out on the Sunshine Speechy podcast. So like brief little, shout out to that podcast where I talk about my journey through undergrad and how I changed my major 5 times. So to answer your question, yes, I have definitely doubted if this was the right career choice for me. I think it had a lot to do with just how hard it is to not only get into grad school, but just how hard it is to get through undergrad. Like speech and hearing science, neuroscience, those are all very tough classes, and I doubted myself a lot. It kind of also goes into imposter syndrome. You're around so many girls with 4.0s, sometimes girls who don't look like you at all and come from different backgrounds. I come from a very unconventional background, so there were a lot of different things that I had to face and just kind of get my inner value and my determination and my motivation from God so that I could keep going, because I knew that this was for me and I didn't want any outside hindrances to deter me from my purpose in speech language pathology. So yes, I did doubt myself plenty of times. So if you are feeling like you are doubting yourself, but this is your purpose, keep going and don't let anything stop you. The next question comes from Psych2BE and SLP, one of my fave girls on Instagram. How do you find internship opportunities with SLPs as an out-of-major undergrad student? That is an excellent question. My best advice is research. I did tons of research. That's how I found Hope Speaks. I'll do a separate video on how amazing that organization is, but they're an organization in Uganda who services adults and children and just families in general with speech and language services. And it's just a great way to get not only experience and internship experience, but a unique experience. Like going abroad is just something that is so unique, and I feel like it's probably a big reason why I got into the schools that I got into. And so yeah, that's an option. And then there's like I said, just research. There's always people looking for help, and many people in this field are very, very open to SLP2Bs. Like SLPs love to have people who shadow them, and maybe if you shadow them a little bit more, you might be able to get an internship opportunity through them. The last option is something that I believe is a little bit more tangible to people than like studying abroad or finding an SLP who will want to mentor you and give you an internship opportunity. You can do the ASHA Step program. Now, I'm not too sure how it's all working right now with like coronavirus and all that kind of stuff, but the ASHA Step mentoring program was so beneficial for me. I got to actually get a mentor who was like near my region. I shadowed her, and like I said, it kind of pairs you with somebody and maybe you can get an internship through them. So just do a lot of research, look for creative new opportunities, reach out to people, don't be afraid. I remember one day just sending tons of emails about just interest. You really want something that's going to stand out. So no, I'm not saying you have to go travel to Uganda, but definitely try to find something that's unique and will really stand out. All right, so I'm popping in here like a little bit just to interject. I've also found that for internship experiences, private practices are always looking. I wouldn't say always, but most of the times they're looking for extra help or people who are really interested in the field. So you can always get, I know you can always get observation hours there and shadowing hours. And so it would not hurt to ask a private practice about an internship opportunity. I think they would be dying to have the extra help. So the next question comes from Jenny.Volsey, I believe. I'm sorry if I butchered that. It says, it's a two-part question. It says, how do you prep for grad school during undergrad? So I have an entire video on that, and I will link it down below so you can access it. It's completely dedicated to that topic alone. And her next question says, what we need to know about fellowships and SLP salary. So what I know about CF, which is your clinical fellowship year. Okay, girl, I completely sent you off with what I said. So I'm going to link down below something that ASHA has on their website. It's a complete guide to the CF experience. That's the least I could do because what I was about to say sent you all the way off. I was so not prepared for that question, but it's a great question. And I answered most of that loaded question, but I'm going to link below an answer to the CF experience. What's the next part? Oh, SLP salaries. So what I have seen on this, on like YouTube, is that you get the most money in SNFs, which are skilled nursing facilities. Then it's like hospitals or home health. Then it's like private practice. Then it's like schools. Also, don't quote me on that. That's just what I've gathered from the YouTube videos that I've watched on the exact same question. So I hope I helped. I feel like I didn't help at all in that, but the first part of your question, I have a whole video on, so I'll link that down below and be sure to watch. All right, the next question comes from Skate or Skate95. Do you have any advice on shadowing? Who do you ask? Where do you shadow? So this kind of goes back to a couple questions ago where I talked about really reaching out to people and not being afraid to just really reach out to SLPs to get experience. So with shadowing, I did the ASHA Step mentoring program where it links you with somebody in your region and you can reach out to them, they'll reach out to you back, and it's all based on your interests. So I wanted to shadow a medical SLP. I got what I wanted and we kept in touch. We still keep in touch. She wrote some recommendations for me for scholarships, and also your professors also have connections. So don't be afraid to reach out to them about shadowing opportunities. A lot of them still keep small caseloads like other places at other clinics around the community. So don't be afraid to reach out to them and ask questions like, hey, do you have any SLP friends that need some shadowing hours or volunteer hours or internship opportunities, anything. Don't be afraid because they have tons of resources in their back pockets waiting to give them out to their students. So that's my advice on shadowing. So for who do you ask? Like I said, you can ask your professors, you can ask different people in the communities, you can do a quick Google search on SLPs in your area and send out an email to them. You also said, where did you shadow? So I shadowed at a school. I also shadowed at a hospital. So I didn't quite get to do like any early intervention or home health or anything like that, or even private practice, but I was working in a private practice, so I really didn't have to shadow or anything like that. So yeah, schools and hospitals is where I shadowed, and I think that it really gave me a great grasp on the field and what I would be doing on a day-to-day basis. So yes, shadow. The next question comes from Rach_Nif. And it is more so of like a comment, and it says, can you make a video about the nerves before applying to grad school? They're hitting me hard right now. I want to say to you, Rach, do not be nervous. You've done what you can do thus far. I know you've probably worked super hard, and just speak to your strengths and acknowledge any challenges that you face that people might see, on the application, and just be honest, open, show who you really are. That's exactly what I did. I was nervous too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not invalidating your nerves. Have them. It just means that this is bigger than you and you're going into a new, bigger season. That's all that nerves are. But do not have fear, because God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Amen. Okay. The next question comes from my girl, Fallon. I'm so bad if I'm saying it wrong. We're friends on Instagram. I feel like she's like my best friend. How have you been preparing for upcoming grad classes? So I've been doing a ton of review, not a ton, I won't say that. I've been doing a little bit of review like on phonetics, because that's one of my first classes coming up in a couple weeks, is speech sound disorders. So I really need to brush up on my phonetics. I'm thinking I'm gonna do something like a week of phonetics, a week of anatomy, and a week of neuroscience, and that's just gonna be my quick nice review of all those concepts, and that's how I'm really going to be preparing for the classes themselves. So the next question comes from one of my subscribers here on YouTube, Tiff. She says, explain the process of the GRE and the GPA. So with the GPA, it's just your grade point average. It's just the cumulative average of your grades thus far, from freshman year to senior year, or well, no, freshman year to basically junior year. And they might take your first semester of senior year. I think that's how it works. Yeah. And they just put it all together to make one cumulative GPA. Now, the GRE is not that simple. So the GRE is, I think it stands for the Graduate Record Exam. And pretty much everyone who has to apply for a grad school or wants to apply for grad school, they take the GRE, and it's supposed to be like this, how you will do in grad school, even though that's totally not the case. But it's just like a ACT or SAT. It's the same thing, just for graduate students. And what you do, it is a multiple part test. There's like quantitative reasoning and language and like vocabulary, math, you know, like all that standardized stuff. And you take it, and it's a pretty lengthy test. I want to say it's several hours long. You go into this room. There's actually options now with like the whole coronavirus thing to take it at home, but it's like super strict. But I took it in a room with other test takers, and it had to be super quiet. I got a little break in between, and it wasn't that long for me to get my results back. I would take it pretty early, no later than like early fall semester before you like apply. So that would be like August, September, October-ish. No later than November. I think I took it really early in November, and I was like so nervous to get all my things back. And I only took it one time. You can take it multiple times. And then with the GRE, you're going to send those scores to your school, and I think you actually get to send them to, I believe, 4 schools for free, you know. So, and I think it's like $12 after that to send them to additional schools. So not everyone requires it, but most do. So just, I would take it, because I can almost guarantee at least one of the schools that you apply to will want you to take the GRE. They will want those results. It's been explained to me that it's not heavily weighed on an application, but they still want it. So I would still, you know, take it seriously. I only took it one time, so I just knew I wasn't spending that much money on the test. It's a very expensive test. So what I got is what I got, and it's kind of just up to you if you want like a super perfect score on it. There are some schools that are very numbers based, so that's just up to you and what schools you're applying to. So the next question comes from another one of my YouTube supporters, Samantha Salinga. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name, but her question is, what is the name of the program you studied abroad through? It is the Hope Speaks Therapy Clinic. You can follow them on Instagram at Join Hope Speaks. Like I said, I'm going to do an additional video just super dedicated to my experience there, because I think a lot of people have a lot of questions about it, and it's like super unique experience that I think everyone, if they can, should do. The second part of her question says, is there a specific therapy clinic you observed at? So they have their own private clinic there in Uganda, and then they also do like little daycares and like shelters, all those kind of things in the communities that we also get to, you know, do therapy at. So it was a super unique experience, super great, and I think you should so do it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I believe this is gonna just be part 1 of the Q&A, because there are tons of other questions that I get in my DMs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely gonna make another one about some other questions that you guys asked. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps you. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe to this video, and I will see you guys later. Bye.